Boom!
Hell yeah!
Toby.
You know, this week, I know we're late. I know we're like 25 minutes late. Not that it matters to you guys. But this is the first week in a long time that you haven't said, can we push it back a day?
Yeah, it's true. Because we actually changed the day.
Well, I don't know that. I appreciate you sticking to the commitment and delivering the people what they need to know for this week in startups.
Sweet. So we have a pretty interesting week this week. I think biggest.
I think we all had a
We've all had a really interesting week. But big news this week is that like Facebook is. You've heard about Facebook because it's when someone stuffs up so astronomically, it reaches mainstream media.
Sure.
Facebook has done that to the nth degree, and they weren't even able to save themselves from the turmoil that came about. And so we've been speaking about Facebook a lot being just like delivering crappy content, not really fulfilling my needs.
Fake news.
Mm-hmm. And it's confirmed they were down 11% for people under 25 in 2017, 11% of users.
Oh wow.
And I guess we know that the way Facebook works is that like there's a network effect. So more people join means all your friends are there and you'll join, and the more people are there, the stronger the network is. But as it starts to fall, the same kind of thing happens. And the network effect also works in the opposite way. So what happened this week is that Facebook lost $60 billion from its market cap. That's bigger or the same size as Tesla's entire market cap.
Yeah. I heard they're calling for Zuck's head.
Yeah.
I mean,
not 6 months ago, it was Zuck for president. You remember?
For sure.
Yeah.
Of course. But anything's better than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So that's so what I know of the situation is, you know, there was hacks that enabled obviously Trump to get into presidency and serve out the wrong ads, and Facebook have confirmed that, which is why they're on the slippery slope.
Yeah, so I think it was like Facebook it's like Facebook should have known about what happened. And so what happened is there's a research firm, Cambridge Analytica, and they essentially got access to data from 50 million people that was passed on by another individual who created these psychological tests.
Yeah.
And so people used to sign up to a test.
Yep.
What kind of personality are you?
Yep.
They would get that data, pass it on, and this part was the part that was not allowed by Facebook to pass on the data to Cambridge Analytica. And Cambridge Analytica's whole mission is to be able to change audience behavior, and they pride themselves on using data to influence politics.
Oh, it's certainly achieved
and
that.
This breach was in the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. So all these factors combined kind of makes it seem like Facebook should have known. They could be able to tell from these, these trends, what's going on and how that data should have occurred. And so because of this story, they're saying that this event proliferated fake news and could have done so to such an extent to influence the election completely.
Yeah.
And in the US, this is huge. But for everyone who's investing in Facebook, that's like, no one wants that.
Dangerous.
And
very, very dangerous. I mean, I've got my own. I've got a very, very, very strong view, which is not to be try to force influence on the current state of American politics.
Mm-hmm. But
this is really bad news.
It's bad news. It's bad news for Facebook. And I think everything just comes at once, Now there's, Facebook bought WhatsApp.
Yeah.
The original WhatsApp founder has started posting in his social media.
Disconnect.
He's convincing people that privacy is important, and he does this through his investment actions. He invests in companies that promote privacy in their products, and he's saying, get rid of Facebook.
Yeah,
they're not acting for you.
Simone, I mean, you probably already know this, guys, but Sim, my wife, she plays stupid pranks on me all the time, where she'll talk about something that's completely vulgar, intentionally, to create an ad to come up on my screen, because she knows that Facebook's listening. Actually, my phone's there. She knows that Facebook's listening to my conversations.
Yeah.
So she'll be like she'll be obviously on the not derogatory, but on the vulgar side of conversation to create a revolting ad to come up. And But like if I get Toyota, I got to buy a Toyota car, and mention Toyota 50 times, I guarantee you.
By next week, you'll have a Toyota.
The ad will be up there. Right.
Definitely. So
they're listening, guys.
They're listening, and $60 billion speaks for itself.
So what's that as a percentage?
7%.
7%.
7% is large.
Yeah. Well, when you're at that size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. And you know what?
No, sorry. Let me rephrase it. It was 7% on the first day when they lost 36 billion. Then another 4 to 5% the day after when they lost up to 60 billion.
Right. So
overall, compounding, it's like maybe 9 to 11%, something like that.
I was gonna say 15%. But I'm a mathematician. I don't think Zuck and crew have intentionally gone out of their way to do all of the I think someone just outsmarted the Zuck.
Yep.
And he's going to pay for it.
Definitely.
He's going to pay for it big time. I got to be honest with you though, Josh. Like my attention on Facebook over the last, I want to say 6-7 months. It's like not even in my top 10 apps that I look at on a regular.
It's not.
Yeah, like Instagram has definitely taken over. I'm still a massive fan of Twitter. I don't know why. No, I do. I think I just like the real aspect of it, the news and the people that I follow. Facebook's not really of interest to me anymore.
It's not hitting it. It's not.
No.
And as Gary Vee says, innovate or die.
Yep.
And Facebook's got to do something pretty quickly.
Well, I think Gary's actually an investor, so he better start eating his own dog food.
Yeah.
All right, what else is going on this week?
So Alibaba has done something really interesting, and I think this is a comment on the wider bricks and mortar retail space. So what they've done in China, they've set up an AR mirror, so an augmented reality mirror that allows females in the bathroom to try on makeup. And when they leave the bathroom, they can go to a machine based on that instant feeling, that instant need, and go and purchase that makeup.
Okay.
So we know that.
So now they're going to be going out to nightclubs and spending most of their time in the bathrooms?
Maybe, but I think this speaks more to why e-commerce is beating bricks and mortar. And so hear me out. Why is e-commerce beating bricks and mortar? We asked the question, and I don't think that bricks and mortar stores feed to our impulses that we have online. How do you purchase online normally? Would you purchase something on a feeling that it's a good product and you need it at that time and you'll purchase it?
Yep.
Bricks and mortar stores can't offer that by their very nature.
Yeah, I think brick and mortar really have to focus on delivering an experience that cannot be replicated or even come close to on the digital side of things.
Yeah, and you need to be able to provide people the products that they want that are for them. And so it's really hard to do that in a store.
Yeah.
Unless you create demand for the product there, in the store.
Interesting.
So this.
Do you want fries with that?
Right? So I think it's an interesting concept altogether.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder. Yeah, 1,000 things are running through my head. One is, what did I buy? I was Uber Eating the other night.
Classic.
And they started serving people that bought this also bought that. Do you want to add this to your cart?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I'm not using the reorder button, actually, and choose something fresh from the menu. And so I wonder if brick and mortar, if they knew the items that were going into the change room, whether or not they could serve you through the mirror a series of additional stuff that you could dink, and the attendant comes and drops it into the room for you, or two, which would be more important, this goes with this.
Right.
Would you like us to get and just really focus on that upsell service,
that on-demand upsell service that e-commerce captures amazingly, and bricks and mortar hasn't failed to do so far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I categorically know that retail is like retailers, as in shopping complex, mall environments are looking. I mean, we've had dozens of conversations about putting cubes in that environment because retail is hurting. And so now these complexes that have been build it and they will come, well, they're no longer coming.
Right. And so this is the kind of thing where I think bricks and mortar, or like shopping centers, stores, they still have a lot to learn. And I have a feeling that for consumer behavior, physical stores can't go away. They can't be done with completely. But I think
I agree. I think some of the mall owners are coming to us going, we used to have these 10 shops, now they're all dead. Would this be something that you'd be interested in repurposing?
Yeah.
So I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity, but I kind of agree that retail needs to do something to jazz it up. I don't think it'll completely die. But you put a cubes there, and maybe 5 cafes might pop up, right?
To service the community. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's retail 101. So I guess this week also in startups we've had some pretty crazy things going on. You might have heard Uber in Arizona had an accident.
So I heard about this, and what I heard about it was an autonomous vehicle that had a driver.
Yeah, right. And
it still
hit the person.
Yeah.
So,
but I also heard, to Uber's defense, that the person was crossing incorrectly, and there was a lot of trigger issues with autonomous.
And I don't think it's specifically Uber's fault. It's just a shame that it happened to Uber at this time.
For sure.
And so I think it asks the question, like, are we there yet for autonomous vehicles? We've been talking about it a lot. It's been a very hot topic, but are we there yet?
So I think we're there from a vehicle perspective. I don't think we're there from a road perspective. I think the roads need to be embedded with sensors, which takes serious infrastructure. And I think that potentially walkways can no longer be across the road, but maybe up over the road. Again, I don't know if we have that kind of money laying around for infrastructure like that. But I do think, Amazon many years ago bought a company called Kiva, Keever. And what they are is they're these little robots that basically would run Amazon fulfillment centers. All in the dark, all autonomous. It's like a highway of staff, but the grounds are all embedded with sensors. The robots are embedded with sensors. There's no accidents.
But that's the investment to make it get to that stage, right?
And I think if we want to take that to the road, we're doing the vehicles, we've done the robots. Now we actually need to work on the surface that these things are rolling on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, people say that eventually this is like a much better way to drive. There's less errors, no bias, no lapse in concentration, and I think that's all really important. But I think a lot of industries go through this, the new industries go through these events where something terrible will happen.
Always.
But it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily bad for autonomous vehicles. It just means that they have to hold themselves to a much higher standard now. And as a consumer, I like that.
Yeah, I think that this is a fail forward opportunity. And if you haven't seen the fail forward vlog, what I mean by that is absolutely tragic. No one should ever die as a result of something going, or a test going wrong. But someone unfortunately has died. And what are the learnings? And just like you articulated, we need to raise the bar in terms of safety and standard. I recently just bought Sim a new car. It may or may not have been one of the cars that they were testing with Uber. And now I've got 2 little girls, 6 and 3, Maddie and Harper, and my wife. These people are the most precious people in my life. I mean, I've got a beautiful mum and extended family, and my sisters and all the rest of it, but these people are the ones I want to roll in cotton wool and protect. And the guy said to me, it was a Volvo vehicle, the guy said to me, "Sir,"
yes, sir.
who are you talking to, bro? Me? He said, "Sir, Volvo no longer considers safety as an option. It's standard. All these like tricked out tools, like if you go over the lane a little bit, it vibrates to bring you back in.
Yep.
There's
and at higher speeds, the steering wheel becomes stiffer.
Yeah.
And at lower speeds, it's more.
There is a bucket, if not way more than I would ever really heads-up display, everything in this car. And the one thing that triggered me was he said, "Sir, we don't take safety as an option. Safety is no longer an option with Volvo." And this isn't an endorsement for Volvo, but everything now is standard.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, that's incredible. Sign me up.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So, I don't know, maybe there's another thing that's come up in the news this week, and Larry Page.
Yep.
No, Larry Page.
Lazar. How are you, Lazar? You haven't emailed me in a while, bro.
His company, Cora, they do electric flying vehicles. They've unveiled their first product.
Yep.
And it looks super cool. And Toby, maybe you can share a picture with the people after this vlog. We've got it down here.
Yep.
And reasons this is good, well, you don't need a pilot. We've already had autopilot for a while, but this is something completely different. And because it's an electric vehicle, it doesn't need the runway to take off. It can create that torque very quickly and get up very fast.
Get on up.
So I think that's really cool.
Link in the bottom.
Link in the bottom, picture in the bottom.
Yep.
Lastly, we'll go on with some local news. PokitPal is a local startup. They are a customer loyalty application.
Yep.
They started being physical books for universities to try and promote loyalty programs.
I heard about this week.
Right.
Sean from Sports Geek was telling me about it.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And so about 18 months ago, what they wanted to do is integrate their app that they developed with payment technology. So someone doesn't... The bane of my loyalty experience is having to have something, a physical thing or a physical app for a different loyalty program.
Yep.
And that doesn't work. But if I don't have to access it to do it, then I can just pay it and it will recognize that I've paid at a particular location.
Totally.
Awesome. I'm down with loyalty programs. I'll sign up immediately. I'll give you my details.
Shut up and take my money.
So they've got a deal with MasterCard.
Yep.
Provide access to 10 million customers that they have. And so all MasterCard customers can now use PokitPal just by tapping their card, which is really cool. They're expecting to grow like 2 to 3 times this year and also expand globally with this partnership. So PokitPal, good work. Really cool.
I'm in.
Really cool. So we've heard recently this week that the government's cracked down on the R&D tax incentive. Now you know about the R&D tax incentive a little bit.
All too well.
Essentially, what it is for our viewers, it's you can get a tax rebate for R&D activities that you undertake for your startup.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's been a feeling of fraud in I think the industry for a while. And there's really good players in there. We've met a lot of good players coming through Creative Cubes, and they're very honest. But there are a lot of dishonest ones.
You know what? We got some hate mail this week. I shielded you from it. But last week we talked about how that person was scanning Maggi Noodles.
Yeah.
And the 10-second sizzle reel was, who are these people? Why these people steal? And all the amount of comments that hit the section to say, like, don't judge them, they don't have as much money as you. Like, it had nothing to do with money, man.
Yeah.
But I don't like fraud. I don't like people being dishonest. You're not welcome here if you're interested in twisting the truth a little bit. But we, because you're in the video as well, we got a lot of hate for calling out people for scanning the wrong item and cheating the system. So I'm a little reluctant to talk about this now.
All right, but R&D tax incentive. The key thing is that the government's cracking down.
Good. Because if you're doing the wrong thing, I hope you get caught.
And so they fined a firm in Queensland $4.25 million. Huge. Don't do it. And so lastly, we'll end on a good note. BlueChilli, they're in the space. They've partnered with Hatcher, a VC fund. You would have heard this news during the week,
of course,
which is amazing. So over the next 3 years, they're going to be able to invest together in more than 240 startups. So that's 3 times what they're doing at the moment. So BlueChilli,
2 thumbs up.
Going to be hitting it.
BlueChilli, I think they have 6 or 7 desks here.
Mm-hmm.
PK recently left BlueChilli to focus on crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck to PK, but good people.
All good people.
Good people.
Yeah.
Cool. This week in startups.
This week in startups.
We'll see you next.